Hello everybody, Bones here. I've been out of commission for a couple of months. We just recently moved and it's been a real mess trying to get everything moved over and get through the closing. We had a double closing with a contingency and it was a mess. I got to tell you, it was the most stressful thing I think my wife and I have ever been through. And we're certainly never buying another house. Of course, you know, never say never. What I'm going to talk about today is this problem with the GoPro Hero 5, Hero 6, and Hero 7 that use the external mic adapter. I just want to make it abundantly plain that these are great cameras right up until you set external mic adapter. There's a firmware bug in the camera that has to do with the external mic adapter, and if you put the vast majority of external microphones that you can plug into this thing that work perfectly well with any other camera in the world will act up. They'll be scratchy, or there'll be no audio at all, or they'll make funny noises, you name it, and it's happening. And I've seen it happen to 4 or 5 people, including Georgia Ramblin' Man, who had the same problem, and TJ did, and I'm not sure. I don't think Mike Haley 7 had it because he doesn't use the microphone adapter with his. So the problem is fixable, but it's a real pain in the butt. And what you have to do is you have to power the camera on with the external mic adapter plugged in, but don't plug the microphone in yet. Do not plug the microphone in until the camera is actually on. Doesn't need to be recording, just needs to be on. Then plug the microphone in and it will work perfect. Unfortunately, if you turn the camera off for any reason and turn it back on, it won't work again, and you got to go through the whole drill again. Now this bug, GoPro has known about this bug for 3 years at least, whenever the GoPro Hero 5 came out with the external mic adapter, and they're not doing anything about it. Or the other option is they're too cheap, or they don't care, or they can't figure it out. Could be any of those. I tend to go with they don't care. They just want to sell cameras as fast as they can, and they don't care about those of us that have to use that god-awful external mic adapter. Maybe later I'll show you a picture of what I had to go through to get it mounted to my helmet, and I'm sure the other guys other guys and gals have gone through the same thing. I keep hoping that there's going to be a firmware fix coming up, and I put them in diligently, but the problem is not getting fixed. I've written several letters, and the GoPro forums, everybody is aware of it but GoPro. GoPro doesn't seem to know anything about it. Every time I've written them a letter and turned in a service order, they say, we don't know anything about this, it's not our problem, it's the microphone's problem. No, it's not the microphone's problem, it's GoPro's problem. We know what the problem is. The microphone worked fine on my Hero 4 and my Hero 3, and it works with all my other cameras just fine. So this is a problem with GoPro. So if you're thinking about buying a 4, 5, or 6, 7, whatever that has that external, I think it's 5, 6, 7, Sam corrected, that has the external mic adapter, just remember it's going to be a real PITA to use. As soon as Scenic comes out with a new camera, I think they're coming out with a 60 frame per second 4K camera at some point in the near future, and I'm going to go to that. I'm just going to get rid of my GoPro, put it up for sale on eBay. I love the camera, but I'm not putting up with this lack of support from GoPro. So that's my take on that. I'm heading down the street right here to Harley-Davidson to meet a friend. We're going for a ride. I might show some of that right after my talk here. I would tell you, I had to go during the move, I had to go to the emergency room, and that pretty much took care of me riding for about a month. I fell down, couldn't get back up, couldn't sit up, couldn't even raise my head. I had vertigo so bad. Apparently I had a piece of calcium in my inner ear that had blocked the flow of inner ear fluids, and there's a name for it. I don't remember what it was. Let's just say it's vertigo. And sure can't ride a motorcycle. Heck, you can't even stand up. It's the most sickening thing I've ever been through. They put me on some pills to dissolve that calcium, and that took care of it, but it took a while. So I'm glad that's done. I'm carrying pills with me now. If I start getting dizzy, I can take a pill, but they said that it shouldn't bother me again because they did an MRI and saw the calcium in there, and they said it's gone now. So whatever it is they did, they took care of it. So there you have it. Well, here's the Harley-Davidson place here in Summerville, South Carolina. I've talked about Summerville quite a lot. It's a bedroom community for Charleston, South Carolina. Nice town. I don't care much for the city and some of the city services. One day I'll go into detail about my experience with the city. There's Harley Davidson, and let's see if my buddy Todd is here. My buddy Todd. Talk to you in a little bit. Is it working? Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this GoPro system here and tell you why I'm so unhappy with this. I'll go over each thing, but this is my GoPro Hero 5. This was the precursor to the 5, 6, and 7. And it has image stabilization and 4K in it. I put in a 128 gigabyte card in here, and you notice there's no battery. It's really important not to have a battery if you're going to use the external battery like I show right here. That's not the name of the company, by the way. That's the name of the company that I get a lot of electronics from, so I give them a little plug. This is a 1000 milliamp hour battery. It will run this camera all day, and I mean all day, 8 hours, and this 128 gigabyte card will run it 8 hours. So when I put it on my helmet, I've got the side mount on here to show you. And then you have to put this god-awful, idiotic microphone adapter on here, which is almost as big as the camera. You have to put it in, and when you do that, you'll notice that you lose your waterproof capability on the camera. The camera is no longer waterproof thanks to this microphone adapter. There's no way to fix it unless you RTV it in, and then you won't be able to get the camera out to get the memory card out. Okay, so I got this attached on the side of my helmet, and because of this, like I talked about, this firmware bug that's in this camera, I have to leave the microphone unplugged when I power it up. So the sequence I use, fortunately because I have this big battery, I can leave this on all day, and that's good. So here's what I do. Here's the sequence I use. I plug it into the big battery, and that tells me the big battery is on, and it sees the camera, and I turn the camera on. Now the camera's on. Then, and only then, do you plug this microphone in, and it will work perfect. Unfortunately, if for some reason you lose power, or you turn the camera off, like that, then you have to start over again with this. You have to take this back loose. It's a real pain, it really is. But the good news about running this without a battery in it, a standard GoPro, like this GoPro Hero 4 right here, will record about 45 minutes till the battery runs out. And that's about it. Some people get an hour and a half. It just depends on the condition of the battery. But this camera here has a 64 gigabyte card in it, so it'll outrun the battery. So I have to switch batteries, but I can run pretty much all day with this camera. This is my aft-facing camera that I run in this mount on the handlebar. You've probably seen it. But this is the microphone adapter that doesn't work right. It never worked right. GoPro's never been able to get it to work right. And if you can get another camera that isn't this obnoxious setup here, I would recommend you do that. Don't buy a GoPro if they don't fix this problem, because this thing is just no good.